Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Music Mondays podcast. I'm your host, Tom Slays. Welcome on in, my friends. Happy Monday. Hope you're well. Hope you're chilling. Hope your weekend went well. Hope your week went great. But we're here live again, my friends. We are live and in color. I'm your host, Tom Slays, and this is Music Mondays episode 235. 235 is pretty fucking crazy, man, I will say. 235 is definitely fucking crazy. That's a fact. But yeah, let's get down to business, man. What's cracking? How we feeling? What's going down? Let's get it. So you guys know the deal. We're gonna go through some weekly recap jazz. We're gonna talk about what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next couple weeks, and then we're gonna talk recruiting, SoundCloud jazz, and then we're gonna have a little bit of a discussion segment here about writing, actually writing and really all forms of media. And then we're gonna get into some reactions and reviews. So let's get down to business, man. Let's get down to business. So, let's start off with your weekly recap. What did you miss at Music Mondays over the course of the last week or so? So, per usual, Music Mondays basic logo t-shirts are in stock and available right now. We still have smalls, medium, and larges available. $20 flat shipping exclusively in the United States, just because shipping is insane outside of the States. So again, feel free to send us a message, send us an email if you're interested in any Music Mondays basic logo t-shirt purchases. Per usual, early access Patreon content goes live on the Music Mondays Patreon every single Tuesday following the live show. So again, if you missed the live show, like for example tonight, you can go check it out over there on the Music Mondays Patreon before it goes live on audio platforms. If you want to go clip it, record it, download it, anything like that. So definitely go check out the Music Mondays Patreon because that has all of our content early before it goes live anywhere else. So heading into Wednesday, obviously SoundCloud Sunday submissions open every single Wednesday. So again, feel free to follow us on socials and stay up to date with all of our playlists and podcast submissions. And then, of course, we do a little bit of audio promo for the following day, which is Thursday, every single Wednesday. So, again, pretty stacked Wednesday per usual, but again, make sure you follow us on socials to stay up to date with everything that we do have going on. Let's see here. So, heading into Thursday, episode 234 of the Music Mondays podcast is available on all audio platforms. That's Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that good jazz. So definitely go check that out, and huge shout out to everybody that submitted and tuned in to episode 234. And then continuing on to Thursday, we uploaded a brand new YouTube video titled "Why Your First Shows Matter." So I took the Laveri submission from episode 232 a couple weeks ago, and I kind of wanted to reiterate that a bit, and for anybody who missed that segment, right? So I spoke a little bit about on your pretty much like all your first shows and things like that, and why that they matter. So definitely go check that out if you missed that. And huge shout out to Laveri's, and make sure you go subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, underground tips and tricks, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. That was Thursday. Heading into Friday, a brand new article went live by the homie Con Benny. He broke down the recent Clips drop, which is a fantastic piece. So definitely go check that out and go show Con Benny some love because that's a W fucking read right there. That was Friday. Heading into Saturday, episode 234 of the Music Mondays podcast is available right now on the Music Mondays YouTube channel. So again, if you prefer to watch the show back on YouTube or you just prefer YouTube in general, the show does drop every single Saturday if you miss the live show on our YouTube channel. Definitely go check that out and go show that some love. Heading into Sunday, SoundCloud Sunday Volume 196 is available right now on the Music Monday SoundCloud. That was curated by me, and the cover art was done by me. Huge shout out to everybody that did submit and make it onto SoundCloud Sunday. And again, submissions open every single Wednesday for SoundCloud Sunday, so make sure you follow us on socials and stay up to date with everything that we do have going on over there. And per usual, make sure you share the playlist with your homies, share the playlist with your friends, share the playlist with anybody who thinks that underground music isn't popping, or there aren't a bunch of artists out there waiting to be discovered. So definitely go share SoundCloud Sunday and go show that some love for sure. That takes us to today, Monday, July 21st, episode 235 of the Music Mondays podcast. How we doing, my friends? That was your weekly recap, and that's pretty much everything major that you missed over the course of the last week or so. So again, make sure you follow us on socials and stay up to date at all Music Mondays. So that's that. All right, heading into next week. So per usual, what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so? So we have a pretty important event coming soon that I've been speaking about on the show here for quite some time. We're actually making a lot of headway with that. I think, like I said last week, just a few things that we got to get done are a little bit of guidelines, formatting, and graphics, and then we're good to go. Which all that should be cranked out this week because, like I said, I really want to make sure that this event goes live by the end of the month. That way, we have pretty much all of August to kind of get shit sorted when it comes to that. So that's pretty much been a huge thing when it comes down to that. And then additionally, like I always say, we're going to start slowly bringing back all of our older playlists and a lot of our older YouTube series as well. Feature Friday, which is our one-on-one interview segment. Workshop Wednesday, which is where we take producers and engineers and we kind of let them break down their sauce and their work process. And then, of course, the breakdown over there on YouTube where we kind of, go into a one-on-one with artists about their recent drops, right? So we kind of break down their drops. And then, of course, some of our SoundCloud playlists right across the pond, which is exclusively artists outside of the United States, underground classics, which are, tracks that inspire you to become an underground artist or even start creating. And then, of course, we have the monthly where that's kind of tracks within the current month that dropped. So we have a couple of those playlists that we really want to start hunkering back down on. And once all that's set in stone, we're going to figure out a way to implement a Spotify playlist and things like that. So lots of good stuff coming when it comes down to that. But again, first things first is our big summer event, making sure that we get that all squared away this week. So outside of that, that's pretty much everything major that's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. Definitely going to be a pretty busy week for us. So I think next week I'll have a lot more information when it comes down to the next event. So that'll be pretty solid. But like I said, that's pretty much everything major you need to know about Music Mondays and what's coming over the course of the next week or so. We got Ghost in the chat. What's cracking, Ghost? How we feeling? Happy Monday, my friend. Let's go. All right. So we did weekly recap, Jazz. We spoke about what's coming over the course of the next week or so. Let's talk SoundCloud exclusives. So again, per usual, Music Mondays is on the hunt for SoundCloud exclusives. If you have any unreleased material, tracks, singles, EPs that you like to have hosted and promoted on the Music Monday SoundCloud and across all of our social media for completely free, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. And of course, like I said, we're only interested in unreleased material for our SoundCloud. So again, feel free to do whatever you want with the track afterwards. You want to go put it on digital streaming platforms, you want to go put it on YouTube or anything like that, that's fine. We're only interested in the SoundCloud version of your track. Outside of that, same goes for YouTube. We are on the hunt for YouTube exclusives. If you have a music video, you have an AMV, you have a lyric video, or you have quite literally any content that you think deserves to be on the Music Mondays YouTube channel, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. Because again, we are interested in unreleased content. And again, you'll be hosted on the Music Mondays YouTube channel of over 320 subscribers. And of course, promoted across all of our social media for completely free. So again, if that interests you, send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email, and we'll be happy to have that conversation with you. So that's recruiting, Jazz. That's exclusive, Jazz. Next thing is recruiting, though. So let's talk recruiting. All right. So additionally, Music Mondays is recruiting. We are on the hunt for writers, journalists, designers, curators. You want to do short form media, you want to do long form media for Music Mondays, YouTube uploads, things like that. Definitely send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email, because again, we are recruiting. Resumes are definitely preferred, but not required. Again, if you're an artist or a writer who's kind of, not used to underground media or independent media or anything like that, we're definitely down to show you guys the ropes. So again, we're looking to add a few more staff members before the year ends. So again, make sure that you send us a message, send us a DM if you're interested in joining the Music Mondays staff team. And of course, I have a YouTube upload right now live on the Music Mondays channel where I kind of break down all the Music Mondays staff roles in a little bit more greater detail. I kind of talk about your schedule, what your content's like, and things like that. So if you're interested in any of the staff roles, definitely go check that out. Or like I said, send us a message, send us a DM, send us an email. Let's see here. That's pretty much recruiting. That's like everything like super major when it comes down to that. Wow. Okay, so we pretty much cranked through everything here. So we did weekly recap. We did what's coming on Music Mondays over the course of the next week or so. We spoke exclusives. We spoke about recruiting. Now we just have to have a quick little discussion segment here, and then we'll get into some reactions and reviews, baby. Let's go. My day went bad, but we move. How's you? Yeah, no, I'm good. I feel you. I feel you. No, it's all good. Sometimes Mondays are shit. It's all right. Now we're chilling out here, so hopefully it gets better for you, King. I know that shit kind of blows. But yeah. Regardless, let's have a quick little discussion segment here because um, there is a few things that I definitely want to go through. I think one of the main things here that I wanted to discuss a couple of weeks ago, but I just didn't figure out a place to like fit it in the show. But what we'll be talking about today is um writing and writers actually. So let me get situated here, and we're gonna have a little chit chat about this because this is a topic that I kind of thought about the other day, but I was like, shit, like how are we gonna talk about this? But regardless, this is an interesting topic here. So one thing that I noticed, and before I get into this topic, I do want to say, I might be biased here because I am a writer, right? But when it comes down to not Music Mondays, right? Because the Music Mondays community is very grateful for all the things that we do. But I do see artists get coverage on other platforms, right? And not just Music Mondays, pretty much anywhere in the underground or independent media, right? Um, I see a lot of people getting either articles written about them, interviews, blurbs, shout outs, anything like that. And some artists will completely ego certain platforms for whatever reason. And I think that's such a negative thing, to be honest with you, because, if somebody like a writer or a journalist or anything like that um, goes out of their way to write about your art and your music, right? The least you could do is at least share it or comment or say thank you or anything like that. I see a lot of artists, and not even mainstream artists either. Like I see a lot of like, tier 2, tier 3 artists kind of doing this, and it's just like, you're benefiting from that because you can use, said article or interview to embed on your website. You can repost it. You can put it in your resume. You can put it in, a folder X, Y, or Z, right? Like a lot of those things are reusable when it comes down to interviews and reviews and things like that. So again, if you're a new artist out there, kind of like egoing platforms, that really benefits nobody. You know what I mean? Because you have content right there with your name on it, and somebody's trying to praise you, and you're ignoring it, which is, fine for mainstream artists, not really, but it's still fine in that aspect because usually they're dealing with like major platforms anyways, right? Like the Breakfast Club and yada yada yada. So when it comes down to like tier 2 and like tier 3 artists, right? Like underground independent artists kind of coming up, any media is good media, and don't get it twisted. Writers can be fucking douchebags. You know what I mean? Like writers can absolutely suck and say some fucking stupid shit because they don't know music or art or anything like that. So don't get me wrong. Like writers aren't exactly the greatest either. But if you come across an article or an interview or a video that somebody does about you, share that shit. And it's beneficial for both parties, right? But it's more beneficial for you because you know you can reuse that content in multiple ways, right? Especially like video interviews or text interviews, or there's so many different ways to kind of reuse that content and kind of show love to everybody and show your supporters that you're actually getting some coverage from platforms that actually give a fuck about you, right? So again, if you get a random article written about you or YouTube video or anything like that, the least you could do is share it and let people know that you're actually getting covered out here, right? And again, that's not really something that's happened at Music Mondays, but just being an observer, right? Obviously, being a manager is like my full-time job. So I'm on the internet all the time, and I see this a lot from like mid-tier artists or kind of tier 1, tier 2, where they're just kind of coming up and they just feel like they have an ego or blah 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 blah, whatever the case may be. But definitely drop that for sure, just because I think it's really beneficial for you to kind of reuse that media that somebody went out of their way to kind of write about or talk about you. You know what I mean? Just like how you see people use the Music Mondays podcast clips for their own promo. That's like why we do this. That's like that makes me happy seeing people post their reviews and being like, yeah, blah 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 blah, because everybody eats when it comes down to that. You know what I mean? So I think that shit's like super super fucking important. And again, if you're kind of like more of like a super poppin' artist, like obviously this doesn't apply to you, but if you're coming up, like any coverage is good coverage. You know what I mean? Any coverage is good coverage, 100%. So make sure you show your writers and your journalists some love, man. And again, not the ones who are uninformed, not the assholes, not the people that are just writing clickbait articles or anything like that. The real writers that go out of their way to kind of break down your music and break down your art, definitely show them love. You know what I mean? Because they definitely keep the ecosystem flowing as well, for sure, especially from that non-creative kind of aspect, right? I mean, obviously, writing is an art. But when it comes down to journalism, that helps everybody, especially if it's like a positive piece, right? So, just some food for thoughts, something that I really thought about, not too long ago. But again, let us know what you think. This will be uploaded on the Music Mondays YouTube channel, so make sure you subscribe. We're only 10 subs away from 330. And of course, we upload every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love. Let's get it, baby. Well done, my friends. Well done. Yeah, that was an interesting topic, and like, don't get it twisted. Writers can suck too, because like some writers, not all writers, but some writers kind of write from the place of just being like a fan and like a supporter instead of like actually like trying to understand the art. You know what I mean? So a lot of those writers get shit twisted. They're not exactly clean in that conversation either, but I do feel like artists could be doing a bit more for themselves, especially if you're like trying to come up. Super important part. But regardless of that, you guys know the dealio. Let's hop over to Twitter and see what our submissions are looking like. So, you guys know the dealio. Let's get into it. Submissions are always in the same format every single week, and they always read. Artists and creative submissions are open for live reviews on Music Mondays, live on July 21st, 2025 at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, twitch.tv/SonPlays, which is here and now. So, per usual, you guys know the drill. The only thing that changes with these submission tweets is the date. So, make sure that you're submitting for a show that hasn't happened yet, and you're good to go. Outside of that, if you'd like to submit your music, artwork, fashion, or digital creations, drop your links and portfolios below. All art forms are welcome. So you guys know the deal. Contrary to our name, Music Mondays, we've reacted to pretty much everything here on the show. Obviously, vocals, acoustic covers, instrumentals, photography, videography, music videos, lyric videos, merchandise, unreleased music, a whole lot of good jazz that we've reacted to. So again, if you're an underground independent creator that feels like you deserve some spotlight here on the Music Mondays podcast, definitely let us know. Send us a message, send us a DM, and make sure you drop your links and portfolios below every single Tuesday. Outside of that, we do have a 3-hour show limit just to make the show a little bit more palatable to watch back. Again, we are one of the only weekly live shows here on Twitch every single Monday. So just to keep the quality up and make sure that we bring you guys a decent show every single Monday, we did implement a 3-hour show limit. And again, sometimes a 3-hour show is a little bit of a pain in the ass to watch back, but it's definitely a lot better than the 5-6 hour shows that we used to do a few years ago. So crazy. But outside of that, submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter to be eligible. Again, that not only helps grow and spread our message, but that also pays respect to everybody else that is waiting for their submissions to be reacted to every single week here on the show. So again, just keep that in mind. Submissions are free. They always have been free. They always will be free. But the only thing that we do ask is that you're following Music Mondays on Twitter before you submit. Additionally, Patreon subscriber submissions are played first every single week here on the show. So if you're subscribed to the Music Mondays Patreon at any tier, whether that be basic, advanced, or premium, you gain access to a whole bunch of goodies over there on Patreon. But the main thing that you gain access to is the Music Mondays Fast Pass, which again, for the duration that you're pledged to the Music Mondays Patreon, allows for all of your submissions to be played first here on the show. Which again, you get played during the start of the show, which is the higher viewership. And of course, when people go and watch the show back, you're one of the first submissions that actually comes through. So again, kind of a win-win. And with that said, huge shout out to all of our Music Mondays patrons. You guys are fucking wonderful. Thank you. Outside of that, last thing we do got to mention is submissions do close about a couple hours before the show starts. So again, we are a live show, so we like to keep the order pretty organic and like to make sure that everybody kind of gets their slot in order realistically, right? So again, you have about like a week or so to submit. Submissions open every single Tuesday following the live show. So again, if you're watching this live, submissions will open tomorrow for episode 236. If you're watching this anywhere else, submissions are already open for episode 236. So make sure you go and submit your links. Outside of that, nothing too crazy. That's pretty much everything that you need to know. If you want any more information on the Music Mondays podcast, we do have a how to submit to the Music Mondays podcast guide on the Music Mondays YouTube channel, where I kind of break down the show in a little bit more detail when it comes down to creating the show, the idea of the show, why we take submissions on Twitter, and things like that. So I go into a little bit more detail in that video, so definitely go check that out, because that got updated for 2025. But I think we're good to go, my friends. That's pretty much all the details you do need to know. Let's check out our lineup here. Let's see how many patrons we got. We got Jordan coming through the fucking submission here. We got Levery, so we got 2 and 2. Okay. 2 and 2. All right, bet. So we'll kick off with Jordan, and then we'll kick off with Levery's as well. But Jordan, hot on the heels of their new album coming out relatively soon. Actually, at the time of this show, it'll be out this Friday, July 25th. They're dropping a new project titled Not Now, I'm Busy, and this is their first music video drop titled Watch This. Now, like I said, Jordan, a very talented multi-genre producer and artist, has been killing it this year. But additionally, this album coming up is actually going to be fucking crazy. So we get a little sneak peek here, and we get to check out their first official music video for this project. Intro to my album coming out on Friday, July 25th. I'm down, Jordan. Let's get into it. All right. Give this a quick pause. Go full volume. Bump the quality here. Let's go 720 just because we're streaming. All right. Here we go. Yep. Love description. Pre-save, streaming. Yep. Perfect. All right, let's get into it. Jordan, watch this official music video. Let's go.
Once I finally hit the surface, just like I fell on purpose, gotta run, yeah. I don't like what I see, it's really not that deep. I'm running low on sleep, my work gon' make me tweak. I'm trying to count and breathe, I turn the other cheek. I never got that fee, I never thought I'd see the weather just like me. My coldest days to breathe. You can call it what you want, just call me while I'm working. That's a vibe, this one, yeah. I've been chasing something perfect, so if anybody heard this, you can catch me when I'm done, yeah. I feel my stomach turning, tend to get a little nervous, always do my own stunts, yeah.
Makes this flawless.
Hit the surface just like I fell on purpose, gotta run, yeah. Turning, tend to get a little nervous, always do my own stunts, yeah. Once I finally hit the surface, just like I fell on purpose, gotta run, yeah. Just gotta run. Just gotta run. Just gotta run. Just gotta run.
The cuts are so good in the music video too. Like the cuts are perfect. Yeah, that was really fucking solid. See, like that's how you do an album kind of introduction right there. Like that's how you do it. I'm a big fan of this one. Lots to say here. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Levery's has something to watch. Levery's does have a submission tonight. Absolutely, Levery's does. Okay. So you guys know the deal, man. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, we're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about the vocals, and we're talking about the official music video for Watch This. So, man, oh man, oh man. All right. So instrumental off rip. This is a very like classic Jordan style of instrumental, very ethereal, but very like lo-fi boom bap sort of style, but also like adding in a few other elements, right? So obviously self-produced by Jordan, but also it's just a really safe and like solid choice. Like this is one where you kind of knew that Jordan was gonna slide regardless. You know what I mean? But let's talk mix. Again, mix is fucking flawless on this. I won't lie. I don't think I've had any gripes with a Jordan mix in over a year now. Like especially like with vocals and the production. Yeah, no gripes here, especially when it comes to the mix. No way. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. Nothing that like really stuck out to me as off-putting. Again, like I said, Jordan has had a very consistent mix as of recently, but something you always want to point out for anybody new here, right? So, instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. Uh, I almost feel like the obvious answer is the sample. I feel like the sample is almost like a feature. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, yeah. Drums are up there too, though. Structure's pretty underrated. I feel like we could go structure here. I feel like structure's definitely a pretty underrated part of this one. Yeah. When the drums come in and everything, I like the way it's structured out. Yeah, let's go structure here for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely structure. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix fantastic, crisp, clean, straight to the point. A very consistent Jordan mix, but also a lot of the small stuff kind of made the difference, right? Like some of the underwater effects, or kind of like the muffled vocals, or some of the backing vocals. Like a lot of the small stuff, you could kind of tell made like a huge difference. So again, mix very much on point. Nothing that I would like ultimately change on this one, especially when it comes down to vocals. Like even more so than the production, Jordan's really progressed when it comes down to their vocal mix. Especially for stuff that like came out, this time last year, or even prior to that. You can kind of see the vocal progress when it comes down to Jordan's mixing. So, uh, vocal mix very much on point. Vocal shining star though. Hmm. I do like the writing. I feel like the writing's very comfortable and very like relatable as well. But you know, outside of the writing, man, to be honest with you, I feel like the flow and cadence and delivery is like really fucking up there. Like it's very mature. It's very veteran like, and it's confident as well. And Jordan's just on the road of becoming like very consistent with their styles, but also trying to branch out and do new shit too. So yeah, flow and cadence and delivery for this one for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely structure. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence delivery. Let's talk about the official music video. That's a really clean. Structure is well put together. I agree, Ghost. I agree. For sure, I agree. 100%. And speaking of the video, I agree. The cuts are everything here, right? Because I speak about the one location, or the DIY videos a lot here on the channel, because we do get a lot of those submitted, right? And they're all fantastic. And like I always say, like if you have a phone, you can have the ability to do this, right? 100%. But the thing is like the editing is the hard part, because you can get angles and locations and do all that jazz. But when it comes to editing, if you don't cut, or you leave a shot on for too long, it can throw the whole video off. But when it comes to the cuts here, it's like cutting like every 5 seconds, which I think is the perfect amount for something like this, especially if you're doing like a one location video, right? There are some like other clips mixed in, but it's still all the same location. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to this, the thing that like really like makes this stand out and keeps you engaged is the cuts, because it's really cutting properly for sure. And I feel like Jordan did a fantastic job with that. 100%. 100%, no question. I do love the location, but I think the shining star here is probably the edit. I love the edits on this. It's really, really well done, and a great first introduction to a new album, for sure, 100%. Even the song itself is, right? So, well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Jordan. Thank you so much for the submission. Much, much love. Make sure you go subscribe to Jordan's channel, man. They're only 10 subs away from 50. Go give him that 50 bomb. And make sure you go follow Jordan on Twitter as well. They're only 6 followers away from 420. LOL. So make sure you go show him some love over there on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe. the Music Mondays YouTube channel. If you haven't already, we're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 channels per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you show these artists on the channel some love. Let's get it, baby. 5 seconds or less. Yeah, those cuts were crazy. I feel like Jordan did a really good job with that. I agree. Okay, so we left off with the homie Jordan, and our last but certainly not least patron of the night is the homie Levaries. Now, Levaries, a very, very talented hip-hop artist, came through with a brand new single titled High Beams. Now, Levaries coming off of their recent Recession rap project, and just kind of getting back into the single mode and really diving into shows and just really making some great progress here in summer 2025. But like I said, this is a brand new track by the homie Levaries. And the caption: had to drop this one with the homie before he goes off to the military. Shout out to all the homies in the military, man. We got the homie Jedward and Levaries. Okay, little YouTube link. Hold on, let's give it a quick pause. Rooney here. We're not ready, YouTube. Hold on. 4 days ago, so super new. So we got Jedward, Levaries, High Beams official audio. So this is a track dedicated to the homie about to go off to the military, man. So I'm down. Let's get into it. Jedward, Levaries, High Beams. Let's go.
If I go pop out, what if I just stun? High beams on for a whole other run. What if you get socked out? What if I draw blood? Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs. What if I go pop out? What if I just stun? High beams on for a whole other run. What if you get socked out? What if I draw blood? Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs.
You beat a goat in front and down. Turn to a sport, you took the lean, you popped the pill, ho. I took the torch, I took your bitch and knocked it down. All up on the floor, she back it up, I bust it quick. Now she wants some more, she got some feelings for me, ho. I'm at the door, I had to do it to you. I'm up in scores, what the fuck? Y'all some broke back mountain motherfuckers. I stay hydrated, but I've been drowning motherfuckers. I put war paint on before I climb a motherfucker, getting personal.
Damn.
All up on my last album, had to get that shit off so you know the outcome. Hitting Aries for a verse, I had to rewrite it. Bitch, we still getting checks, on my dogs bout it. I put a blunt down, somehow all my thoughts louder. Tell me how this shit work, show you how switch work. Give a fuck a Dyco, I promise that bitch turn. Only got an insert, wants to get play like how fucking disc work. Right into my wrist, or your shit will
Holy
snap
shit.
back. If you try to be like me, scary ass bourbon boys, kinda what I see. Y'all be motherfuckers hit a blunts and sipping lean. Y'all tryna feel hard till you hit up in your spleen. Get the fuck up off the net and stay away from all them screens. Dumb ass bitch, all your money coming clean. What the fuck?
If I go pop out, what if I just stun?
Yo, he lit that up. Jesus Christ.
What if you get socked out? What if I draw
He fucking
blood?
killed that.
Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs. What if I go pop out? What if I just stun? High beams on for a whole other run. What if you get socked out? What if I draw blood? Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs.
What the fuck, what the hell? He put my bitch in Chanelly, then I take her out Chanelly. Now she getting really wetty, telling me that she ready. Girl, I fuck you all night if you let me. We got Kim inside the bed, new positions every night. Like Sabrina, she that Hannah, so she like it when I call her my Selena. That little pussy, what it fuck? Got me thinking of Katrina. Give it to her and I sell her, leaving stands on me, got me shy. She on her knees
Damn.
every day, she ain't praying to the Lord. Lay her down on the floor, telling me she wants some more. Put a condom out the drawer, then I fuck her till she sore. Ha, sight. I ain't seen her rubbing like 4 years. Dogging on my bitch, I'ma treat her like a whole year.
Yo.
For the hoes that I think I need more, yeah.
Levaries is funny, man.
What the fuck, hey.
If I go pop out, what if I just stun? High beams on for a
It's a good duo right there. I like it.
you get socked
I like it. It's a good duo.
blood. Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs. What if I go pop out?
Hook is really solid too.
High beams on for a whole other run. What if you get socked out? What if I draw blood? Poke hollow tips like all up in your lungs. Ho.
Damn. Okay. I like that a lot. So that was our first experience from the homie Jedward, right? And again, I feel like that's a great duo. That's a really, really good duo. And Jed really like came through and like laid it down. You know, the hook, the verse was crazy. And Levaries damn near just skated along too. I like it. I like the duo here. That's a fact. That's a fucking fact. All right, you guys know the deal. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, man, we're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals. We're gonna talk about the overall theme of High Beams. So, instrumental, really solid, like OG trap sound, but very modern as well. You know what I mean? It's not like aged or anything like that, but it really has like a consistent like, you know, sound from all angles. So I like the choice for sure. But instrumental mix, solid, to be honest with you. Nothing clashing too overbearing. I feel like they both sounded really solid. Drums definitely cut through nicely. Everybody's vocals sat nice. Nothing that I would like really change about this, to be honest with you, especially like instrumental wise. 100%. So, instrumental mix very much solid. Instrumental shining star, definitely the drums. The drums really, really pick up the pace here and bring that like aggression, kind of like confidence that this track really needed for sure. And I love the sound selection on the drums, and the patterns are great, obviously. So, yeah, let's go drums. Let's go drums. So, instrumental solid, definitely drums. Let's talk vocals, vocal mix. Vocal mix across the board, no real complaints, to be honest with you, no gripes at all. I mean, Jed sounds fantastic, real like raw hip hop, clean sound. Laverius comes through and is really on the same. You know, levels are good, crisp, clean, clear, straight to the point. Nothing that I would really change on this either, to be honest with you, especially when it comes down to the levels. I thought they transitioned really nicely. I thought everybody sounded like really solid on this. So yeah, no real gripes when it comes down to the vocal mix at all. Vocal shining star on the other hand, I think riding across the board, because Laverius made me chuckle a bit there, and then Jed obviously fucking killed it, especially with the hook. So I think writing and lyrics across the board is in order there for sure. So instrumental solid, definitely the drums. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. The sock theme, aesthetics. The solid IRL photo is always going to be a good play, man. You guys know how I feel about these covers, especially when it comes down to like, just like slight edits and stuff for like singles and whatnot. This is perfect. This is 100% perfect, especially when it comes down to like collabs. If you have the ability to use something like this, definitely use it. Especially for like a quick little Lucy or something like that. So, aesthetics definitely on point for sure. Simple and gets the job done. Overall theme, high beams. Obviously a very confident, almost somewhat of like a diss track, but also like they're not calling out just one person. I mean, I feel like Jed and Laverius really just kind of like shit on like all the people that deserve to be shit on, really. You know what I mean? So just calling out a lot of the fuck shit and calling out a lot of the bullshit, especially in the hook. You know what I mean? So I feel like it was a solid collab from them that really kept the confidence up. You know what I mean? Like it's really one of those tracks to just hype you up. Like. Go to the gym, clean the crib, shit like that. Like stuff like this is always good for sure. So definitely a solid listen, and I feel like these two nailed it 100%. So well done, my friends. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Jed and Laverius. Make sure you go sub to Laverius' channel, by the way. They're approaching 1.1k over there on the tube. And of course, make sure you go follow Laverius on Twitter. They're only 8 followers away from 140, so make sure you go show them some love over there on the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. I almost said trailer. But yes, over there on the channel. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. No name type Dizzy. Yeah, right, for sure. I always like tracks like that. I'm a fan of those more like high aggressive tracks for sure. 100%. I feel like they both nailed it, Alrighty, so you guys know the dealio. That does it for all of our Music Mondays Patreons. You guys are fucking amazing. Thank you. Huge shout out to the homie Laverius. Huge shout out to King Mark, Kruker, Ryuki, EDG, and of course the homie Jordan. Thank you guys so much for all of your love and support over there on the Patreon. Now, it's time to get into the rest of our community submissions, top to bottom. You guys know the deal. Let's get into it. First up, we got the homie Wormwood Noah. Now, we got a first-time submission from Wormwood Noah, I think a couple weeks ago, and a very talented hip-hop artist came through with another track this week titled Tread Hill. Thank you for the opportunity. You're very welcome, my friend. The song off an EP I released last year. All the songs deal with perception, mindset, and breaking cycles. This one in particular is an expression of hope against hopeless causes. Love that. Fantastic detail there. Well, let's give it a quick pause here. Alright, so this is off the project Mirth, a 4-track EP. This is track 2, Tread Hill. Alright, I'm down. Let's get into it. Wormwood Noah, Tread Hill, let's go.
Uphill, treadmill, going uphill. Treadmill, going up. axe at the podium, digging up a speech. Just another matter in the manner of our piece versus true elites. People you have never seen and couldn't before, clashing at the castle Ravenloft forevermore. That's what's become of us. Trumpets and nuns could never run it up. Legislating iller fate if you did not donate enough.
That Raven line was crazy.
On a tape that's too hot for the repeating. I could like the view if only we could afford seating. If it's not for needing, well then baby I'm bleeding. There's an unsold wood around the sand. Starts by waking dragon sleeping. Raise her like the canes that came before, one and the same. Spin the tail after while our progeny are warming on the flame. Call that genetic memory of mummery and honeyed words. Break apart the pattern and replace with the absurd. Turn it overhead, push the pen to break the curse. It's a tree before a forest and start small at first. On this uphill treadmill, just trying to grow some. Many come before, see the tags on their toes, hun. Just to survive, compromise self-fate. Axe now to grind and it's back in your face. On this uphill treadmill, just trying to grow some. Many come before, see the tags on their toes, hun. Just to survive, compromise self-fate. Got an axe, not a grind, and it's back in your face, okay?
Eesh.
Don't need to ask, I assume that permission is placed. Okay. Got an axe, not a grind, and it's back in your face. I could be the one that broke a piece. Many such compatriots claim to tame the many-headed beast. For when we sleep, it's all creep shots and deep pockets. Mystery purloining in the mergers and the joinings. Can we stop it? Should we even try? Is it any kind of mystery as to why all the previous ones chosen at the throne, they lay frozen, take the bag and hide? That's the secret unspoken? Seal away the payments, let the money trees grow. Let the fruit they bear become trees of their own. Then once orchards built, sell it for a sleek profit. Is there any wonder why it's in our best interest to stop this? We're on a mortgage that's strapped to a rocket. The ones who can afford it leave us earthlings like holding out our pockets. And me, I need to see an alternate ending without all the wailing and sobbing. So let's get to solving. Please.
Love that.
Many come before us.
That's positive.
On their toes, son, just to survive, compromise self-hate. Axe not a grind, and it's back on this uphill treadmill. Just trying to grow some. Many come before us. See the tags on their toes, hun. Just to survive, compromise self-hate. Got an axe, not a grind, and it's back in your face, okay?
Wow. Yeah, I feel like Wormwood Noah really described that pretty well. I mean, their caption really, really broke that down, to be honest with you. I felt like that was pretty accurate. But you guys know the deal. Let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So, so we're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the overall theme of Tread Hill. So, instrumental. I love the choice for the subject and the theme of this song for sure. Very chill, relaxed, but also talking about like a bunch of real shit. You know what I mean? Like sometimes the realest songs will have like some of the most peaceful, simple instrumentals. But again, I like the choice. Mix is solid though. Nothing too clashy, too overbearing. I definitely didn't have any gripes with it. I mean, the melodies were great. Sound selection was great. Wormwood sounded great on it. Levels were good. Like I said, I wouldn't change anything on the sounds either. Yeah, no gripes with the instrumental mix. Definitely not. So instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. You know, the melody definitely is up there. The drums keep up the pace pretty well. Structure's up there. I kind of want to go melody on this one. It kind of brings like the peacefulness and like the more like chilled, kind of relaxed and pay attention kind of vibe. I'm gonna go with the melodies here, but drums or structures is a close second for sure. But let's go with the melody for sure. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. Again, much like the last Wormwood track, which was the first time they submitted a track, I think the mix is fucking solid, especially when it comes down to levels and quality. Nothing that I would change on this at all. Nothing super clashy to overbearing. Wormwood sounds great on it. Drums cut through nicely. Nothing that I would really gripe about, to be real with you. And again, this is an artist where, you know, we haven't dove that deep into their discography here on the show yet. So for 2 tracks in, definitely a very consistent mix for sure. So with that said, vocal mix very solid. Vocal shining star though, I mean it's gotta be writing, no? Like even off Riplet, that Raven line was classic. You know what I mean? That was a really really solid line, and then it just progressed. So I'm gonna go writing and lyrics on this one again. Um, so instrumental solid, definitely the melody, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme. So aesthetics for the 4-track EP titled Mirth. I love it. Very almost like summer esque kind of feel, like a mermaid, and then you have like Wormwood No at the top with Mirth at the bottom. Simple but straight to the point, especially for like an EP, right? This dropped like a little past summer, like September 8th, 2024. So it wasn't exactly a summer drop, but it might as well have been. Um, so again, aesthetics definitely on point. I like it for a small EP for sure. Overall theme though, I mean, Wormwood kind of came through with a really solid explanation of this. You know, all the songs deal with perception, mindset, and breaking cycles. This one in particular is an expression of hope against hopeless causes. And you know, I agree. You know, between the billionaires and you know, the economy and you know, violence and things like that. I feel like all that was touched on here in a very positive way without it making it sound like corny. You know what I mean? I love when artists do that because they can like really explain their feelings a bit better that way too. You know what I mean? So I feel like the theme was very much on point, and you definitely nailed it for sure. So well done, my friend. Well done. A huge shout out to homie Wormwood Noah. Make sure you go follow them on Spotify. And of course, make sure you go follow Wormwood Noah on Twitter. They're only 2 followers away from 970. So make sure you go show them some love over there on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube free upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, underground tips and tricks, a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you get show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you. I appreciate you. We see you dropping likes, even if you're just viewing the videos or anything like that. We definitely appreciate you. Okay, so we left off the homie Wormwood Noah. Up next is a very, very talented hip-hop artist, Onwuka, coming through with Haiku Jujitsu Flow. Now, Onwuka has been taking us on a journey with a lot of their earlier discography, so it's been really fun to kind of go through their submissions, but this is their caption. All right, we're going back. We going quick. Ancient verse Haiku Jujitsu Flow. I made this in 2017. 2017 is crazy. So you're talking what, like 8-9 years ago? Recorded this on my partner's crib back in the day. Good classic Luca verse and a specific ass bar to end it. I'm down. 2017, eh? 2017. Talking like 8 years ago, man. 7 years ago on the cloud too. November 3rd of 2017. Onwuka is so good. I agree, Ghost. And we got a little lyrics in here too. Okay. Up the verse on my partner's track, Haiku Jujitsu. Hopefully it stays kicking in your trunk. I'm down. Let's get into it. Onwuka Haiku Jujitsu Flow. Let's go. All right. Working on a little something for him. That'd be a crazy collab.
Pollute the dragon with toxic waste, more fire than how macaronic tastes. I'm trying to
Oh,
cut more
shit.
rings than Sonic Chase. She says I'm so hot, guess I've got a demonic face. You kinda sick, but I'm like a constant Blake. I'm cornrows, dog, you boxer braids. Stealing style that's already been made. Always surfing blows and I'm about to wreck like I just hit a monster wave. I'm creeping and I'm black like I'm Zorro. So of course I got the cops afraid. I was meant to have froze since I was born though. Well your bummer cats got a cop to fade. Rock the same, y'all talk is lame. Well a player like me uses a obnoxious slang and combines it with divine thoughts. Absorb it till your mind pops metamorphosis. Can you converse with my kinds a lot with a verse that rhyme shot straight to your brain like you just took a line and watch my lines lock up, but now you don't know what time or place you in. Goddamn bad head of Jean-Claude Van Damme, need to holla at a time cop.
Shout out Jean-Claude Van Damme. I get it. Yeah, because yeah, this makes sense now. Because Jiu-Jitsu and Haiku and Jean-Claude Van Damme. Okay. Yeah, not many people are gonna understand that one. I like that one a lot. Well done. Let's break this down. Now, obviously, with this being from 2017, we're gonna go a little lighter on it because again, Onwuka has made massive progress from the things that they drop here, like fucking 8 years later, right? So we're gonna give Onwuka a break for sure, just because it is 2017, right? But let's break it down. Let's talk about it. So we're going to talk about the instrumental, we're going to talk about vocals, and we're going to talk about the overall theme of Haiku Jujitsu Flow. Instrumental. It's an interesting choice, but it definitely is like an Onwuka style of instrumental, especially the melody. But the mix is interesting. Again, for 2017, it's not bad at all. You know, a lot of us when we first start out, like a lot of our early tracks are just crazy. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna gripe on the mix too hard, right? But it does give a good indication of like how far Onwuka has come, sound and quality wise, right? But instrumental mix solid for what it is and where it's at for sure. Nothing like super clashy to overbearing. Nothing that I would like really gripe about from a track from fucking 2017, right? So instrumental mix solid, definitely for what it is. Instrumental Shining Star, on the other hand, though, I feel like the drums were pretty insane, but the melody is a very like Onwuka style melody. So let's go with the melody here. Although I do like the drums, but let's go with the melody for sure. So instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. Again, for something from 2017, I think the biggest thing that you could take away from this is how much Onwuka has progressed with not only their instrumental choices and their instrumentals and their overall mix, but the vocals specifically have just turned a whole like 180. You know what I mean? Like a complete change. And Onwuka does really well now. And this is such great insight on the progress, which is why I do like a lot of these older tracks because you know, everybody deserves to be celebrated for their progress when it comes down to that. You know what I mean? So vocal mix again for where it is in a 2017 track, definitely solid because you can see how Onwuka kind of progressed and really started to work on their mix and get a good engineer in, or even start engineering themselves or X, Y, or Z, right? So, vocal mix definitely solid for what it is. Vocal Shining Star on the other hand, though. I do like the flow and cadence, but looking at the writing, I'm gonna have to go writing here for sure, especially with like the last time cop bar. You know, that's pretty crazy. So let's go writing and lyrics on this one. The instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk theme, aesthetics. You guys know how I feel about the IRL photo covers, especially this one. It looks like Onwuka is going to like a party or like some kind of like prom or some shit like that, or a dance. I don't fucking know. Like, but Onwuka is snazzed up here, especially with the fucking cigar in the mouth and everything like that. What a classic photo. What a classic fucking photo. But especially for singles and shit like that, you guys know how I feel about these IRL covers, man. These always work good for quick little loosies or just a small single, right? So aesthetics definitely on point. Always love those covers. Overall theme for Haiku Jujitsu Flow. So you know, I feel like Onwuka pretty much described it here, but I do have a few things to say. Recorded this at my partner's crib back in the day. Quick classic hookah verse with a specific ass bar to end it. Yeah, I mean the Jean-Claude Van Damme and a lot of like the mixed martial arts kind of lines in here, and a lot of the almost braggadocious kind of confident lines mix really well with everything. But I feel like Onwuka really nailed down the theme for something like that, especially when it comes down to like, you know, the title of the song. So I feel like Onwuka again, you know, even rolling back to all the way to 2017, their themes are very much on point. They can write about almost anything. You know, I haven't seen them kind of describe anything weirdly once, you know, because their themes are always fucking on point. So, well done, my friend. Huge shout out to the homie Onwuka. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go follow Onwuka on SoundCloud, by the way. They're only one follower away from 70, so go show them some love over there on the cloud. And of course, make sure you go follow Onwuka on Twitter. We're only 4 followers away from 730, so make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe. The Music Mondays YouTube channel, if you have not already, we're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists and show some love, baby. Let's get it. Okay, so we left off the homie Onwuka. Up next would be the homie Jordan, but Jordan is a Music Mondays Patreon, and we already reacted to Jordan's submission earlier in the show, so definitely go check out the start of episode 235 and go show Jordan some love. Let's see. So after Jordan is the homie Lil Derek. Now, Lil Derek has been coming through with some fucking crazy submissions as of recently, especially for their new project Enter the Dragon, right? And this week they submitted Stay Still. And I don't know if it's a lyric video or a music video or it could just be the audio. I don't know. It's going to be a surprise, though. It's definitely going to be a surprise. And their caption, another one from Enter the Dragon. Now, like I said, Derek being a very talented hip-hop artist, has came through with another drop from Enter the Dragon. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. I'm down. It does look like a little music video. Okay. Hold up. All right, let's go 720 since we're streaming. Let's see here. More of the music. Wow, lots of love in the comments too. Love that. Enter the Dragon out now. Put the album link in there. Let's see. So this dropped in March of this year, so not super old, but not super new either. All right, I'm down. Let's get into it. Lil Derek, Stay Still. Go.
Yeah. It's your boy Lil Derek. I can't stay still, cause I ain't make a meal. Still ain't missed a meal, ain't made enough to pay my bills. I keep faith still, I embrace fear. It might take years, but I'ma break the seal. I can't stay still, cause I ain't made a meal. Still ain't missed a meal, ain't made enough to pay my bills. I keep faith still, I embrace fear. It might take years, but I'ma break the seal. J. Cole told me love mine. Appreciate the journey, never cheat the grind. Really, I be wishing I could cheat time. Who got the remote on fast forward? I'm trying to rewind. Pause the hourglass, but it's every hour pass. I get closer and closer to putting financial freedom within our grasp. So why would I want to do it all over again? I might make the same mistakes, but might not make the same friends. The real power is willpower. Smacking these nigga that disrespect my woman, yeah, that's that willpower. Jaded from entanglements, part of me is still sour. No matter how they angle it, I see you niggas still cowards. I can't stay still, cause I ain't make a meal. Still ain't missed a meal, ain't made enough to pay my bills. I keep faith still, I embrace fear. It might take years, but I'ma break the seal. I can't stay still, cause I ain't made a meal. Still ain't missed a meal, ain't made enough to pay my bills. I keep faith still, I embrace fear. It might take years, but I'ma break the seal.
That's tough. I love that. Grass is greener wherever I am. Look at all this fantastic art too. A little art montage at the end.
I appreciate y'all having me tonight. And I look forward to hearing the rest of the audience.
Hit it. Wow. Out now. Shit. Okay, so that was a mix of a few things, right? Because you could call it a music video, or you could call it a visual. And it's almost like a vlog style kind of edit too. You know what I mean? But wow. All right, well done. We're gonna talk about three things when we break this down, so you guys know the deal. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, we're gonna talk about vocals, and we're gonna talk about the official video for Stay Still. Instrumental, a very Derek style instrumental. Has a little bit of like lo-fi, boom bap kind of feel to it, but it's very soft and very chill and kind of like relaxed and very laid back. So I like the choice a lot. Prod by Cali Beats, by the way. So instrumental mix though, fantastic. Definitely no gripes at all. I mean, Derek's an artist where usually their overall mix in general is like really fucking solid. So not really a shocker, but something you always want to point out for anybody new here. But when it comes down to the instrumental mix, definitely no gripes at all. Sound selection was solid. Patterns were solid. Drums were solid. Drums cut through nicely. Nothing was like really messing with the levels or anything like that. So, no gripes with the instrumental mix. No way. Instrumental mix solid. Instrumental shining star. Probably the melody. I feel like the melody's bringing a lot of like the relaxed kind of like, lock in kind of feel, so, I kind of want to go with the melody here. Although I do like the drums, I feel like the melody's really up there for sure. Yeah, let's go melody. 100%. Just because it brings the mood for sure. Instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix, again, fantastic. I mean, I haven't heard a mix from Derek in the history of them submitting to the Music Mondays podcast where I was kind of like, it's okay. You know what I mean? Definitely no gripes at all, especially with the vocal mix. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Vocals sit nice in the instrumental. Drums definitely cut through nicely. Levels are solid. Quality solid. I mean, really, you can't ask for much more. You know what I mean? Especially for like Derek's style and their voice and like what they're going for. Definitely perfect for sure. So, vocal mix solid. Vocal shining star. Although I do want to say the hook like really bad. I think writing lyrics again in general is just a no-brainer here. You know, Derek really wrote their ass off for this. I really like this one a lot. Motivational, chill, kind of self-reflecting almost a little bit, you know? So let's go writing and lyrics here, for sure. Instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the writing lyrics. Let's talk about the official video for Stay Still. So this is almost like a performance music video visual mix, you know? It's all three of those things in general, so I can kind of see why Derek just didn't put anything at the end, because, I mean, realistically, I would classify it as like a visual, or if you really want to call it a music video, it definitely could be, for sure. I mean, I think it falls under the category, but regardless, Derek's always been really ahead of the game when it comes down to their visuals and like how much footage they get, because every time you see them doing an event or going on public, or even like we've seen visuals with like indie wrestling events, you know what I mean? So they really like have a good vision for their visuals and like what they can use, you know, at their disposal when it comes to their resources. Right, and this is fantastic. I mean, you have some time-lapse clips, you have some really great cuts, and then you have like the performance footage where it's like edited with the performance audio, and then like keeping it in the outro here, and just showing love to everybody. I think that was a great addition to this too. So yeah, I'm big on this one, man. I'm big on this one, 100%. Simple but straight to the point, and very enjoyable, and it makes you lock in for sure. I think Shining Star for the video is probably the locations. I feel like the locations were fantastic. Between this art gallery and the performance footage, I feel like locations really fucking, you know, knocked it out of the park here this week. So I'm gonna go locations for sure. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Little Derek. Make sure you go sub to their YouTube channel, man. They're only 6 subs away from 690. So make sure you go show them some love over there on the tube. And of course, make sure you go follow Little Derek on Twitter as well. They're only a couple followers away from 3.7K over there on the Bird app. So make sure you go show them some love over there on Twitter. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Alrighty, my friends, so we left off the homie Little Derek. Up next is the homie Royale Michael. Now, Royale Michael has been hot on the Music Mondays radar, especially since they first started submitting here on the show. So, wow. Michael, a very talented hip-hop artist, came through with a music video for Escape. Hey, Royale Michael here, and this is my new song video titled Escape, available on all platforms. Hope you enjoy. We appreciate you, my friend. Thank you for your submission. Yeah, for those of you that have seen Royale Michael's recent submissions here on the show, they have been fucking insane. Especially when it comes down to their videos and their audio and just wow. Lots of love in the comments too. Good. That's awesome. September 30th of 2024. So not super new, but not super old either. But I'm down. Let's get into it. Royale Michael, Escape. Let's go. Price is Right. Play fucking Plinko or something.
Yeah.
This looks like a crazy arcade.
Go. 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 Go.
What a good idea.
Loving your vibes, loving the way that you ride, yeah. All bullshit aside, we both done waiting on time, yeah. pain in your eyes, from fantasies making you blind. You a Wonder Woman thinking about some wonders full of truth, but feeling like life's a lie, cause life ain't giving us nothing. But this love is worth something. I'm giving 206 of me until you got every bone structure. But lately, I know it's not enough. Wanna show you the world, but we living by love. Red dude watching Blue Schools like it's 03. Either crazy in love or we crazy as fuck.
Damn, bro.
Take a trip away, we ain't going back to town. Hey, look, about to get wild. Fuck everything, if you down, then I'm down. Hey, look, we holding the crown. They wanna ride the wave, tell the bitches don't drown. Hey, look, tell the bitches don't drown. Hey, look, tell the bitches don't drown. Cause this love is something that I never see. I be pissed off looking for things I never need. Yeah, we need to escape before we lose our dream. Yeah, hey, this is it. Take a trip and we gon' sing. Me, we gon' make this dream come true. Me, loving all the things that you do. Me, I just wanna run away with you, with you.
Let's go, man.
Let's turn this life all around. I just wanna run away.
Wow.
Baby, let's get away. Paradise awaits. You know I love everything that was so love about your boy. Can't say enough. You the one, got no doubts. They don't gon' call it puppy love. Bonnie and Clyde when we pull up. I'm your shawty, you ignite a fire. We tie a Nazi like no other. I'll be a rider, I'll be a fighter. Baby, where we going? It don't ever matter as long as you got me. We doing that damn thing. Skirt off in a robbery. Act like it ain't nothing. Cause this love is something that I never seen. I be pissed off looking for things I never need. Yeah, we need to escape before we lose our dreams. Yeah, hey, this is it. Take a trip and we gon' sing.
Yo, come on. The harmony is crazy. Holy shit. I love it. My god. Shout out to homie Cade. What a video, man. You know, every video we've seen from Royal Michael has just been top fucking tier. They're around a really good team of editors and directors. Because even, you know, a one location video like this, it is just fantastic. This is just fucking fantastic. A perfect romance kind of emotional love song, you know? I feel like they both nailed it here. Especially Mina, like, wow. Wow. All right. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it because there's a lot to discuss here. We're going to talk about three things. We're going to talk about the instrumental, we're talking about vocals, and we're talking about the official music video for Escape. Because, I mean, obviously as well, I'm pretty sure the theme is relatively obvious to most of you, but we'll speak a little bit about the theme as well. Let's talk instrumental. So for what this is, it's got a great R&B sound, and like for what they were going for in terms of the message and the theme of this, I feel like the instrumental was a really, really solid choice. 100%. Yeah, I feel like this producer fucking nailed it, but when it comes down to the mix, flawless. Nothing clashing, too overbearing. Nothing that I would like ultimately change here. Sound selection's great. Patterns are great. Both of them sound really solid on the instrumental. Nothing that I would fully switch up on. I mean, that's becoming a more and more common theme for Royal Michael. I mean, you know, I think we've done like 3 or 4 submissions to them, and each time the mix has been very much on point, like very, very much on point. So not really a shocker, but you never know. Something you always got to point out, right? So instrumental mix, definitely solid, right where it needs to be. Instrumental shining star, got to be the melodies here. I feel like the melodies really bring that classic, but still modern R&B kind of vibe, you know? Soft, you know, emotional, kind of like warms you up a bit, you know what I mean? So let's go melodies here. Although the structure is pretty banging, I feel like the structure is pretty fucking underrated here, if I do say so myself. You could definitely say structure, but I'm going to go with the melodies. I'm going to go with the melodies for sure. So, instrumental solid, definitely the melodies. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix for both of them, absolutely fucking fantastic, especially when it comes down to like the quality and the levels. No gripes with the quality and the levels, but the harmonies, the ad libs, the smaller things throughout the track that just made this stand the fuck out, and I feel like they did such a good job with, especially when you're talking about like, a duo or your feature or, the dynamic of these two, So I really, really feel like the vocal mix was right where it needed to be. Again, 100%. No question with the levels, no question with anything when it comes down to vocals. I feel like they both fucking nailed this when it comes down to delivery and recording and how the mix turned out, to be honest with you. Definitely no gripes, especially with levels, right? So vocal mix definitely right where it needs to be. Vocal shining star. Although, nah, let's just go writing in general. Writing and lyrics across the board from both of them were just fucking fantastic. 100%. 100%. I feel like they both gave different perspectives of like what a relationship is for two people that are like really in love, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like you have the women's side and you have the man's side, right? And I feel like it was a good like mashup of both, So I'm gonna go writing and lyrics on this one, 100%. So instrumental solid, definitely the melodies, vocal solid, definitely the writing and lyrics. Let's talk about the official music video for Escape. So, look, I already spoke about this a little bit earlier, but I do want to say when it comes down to one location music videos, it's all on the, the creativity at that point. Because you could really film a music video in one place and make it look really fucking solid, as we've seen 2 times already tonight. Royal Michael being the second, because if you're going to go to the arcade, I mean, you can get like 5 minutes of bowling, play pretty much different games and get different angles. I mean, even the racing ones, I felt like that was solid. And going into the photo booth, that's another fucking really good shout. So there's enough footage here to break this up and really kind of really make it like almost like a date POV, like going on a date with your partner, you know what I mean? But they did a really, really good job with it, especially when it comes down to like the slow-mo-ness of it and like, the mix of like B-side clips with like actual like verse clips too. And then like when they're sitting down together at the table, I feel like that was a really great opportunity as well. Like some of these shots right here, fantastic. Yeah, man, I do love the editing, but I'm gonna have to go with the location. I love the creative vision here. I feel like they both thought of a really good idea here, or whoever came up with the idea. But going to the arcade was flawless. I felt like that was fucking a really, really good shout. And like even the quality's fantastic and it switches up so much. I mean, how could you have a gripe about this? This is so well put together, but creatively, the location is definitely the shining star for sure. Because I feel like you really had to like think outside the box when it comes to like one location, right? So it's like, what can we do here to like make this really sick? I feel like they did a good fucking job, man. They did fantastic. So well done, my friends. Huge shout out to the homie Royal Melko. Make sure you go subscribe to their YouTube channel. They're quite literally only 9 subs away from 280, so go show them some love on the tube. And of course, make sure you go follow Royal Michael on Twitter. This is their brand new Twitter account. They're only 2 followers away from 10, so make sure you go show them some love over there on the Bird app. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you, my friends. Well, let's get into it. Alrighty, so we're about halfway through the show, chat, so we're going to take a quick commercial break here. I'm going to need all you guys to get up and go get a drink, go walk the dog, maybe go and get a snack, go do anything like that, because we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we return, we're going to dive right back into the rest of these submissions for episode 235. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Music Mondays Podcast, episode 235. I'm your host, Sam Slays. Welcome on in, my friends. Happy Monday. Hope you had a good break, but we're going to continue on here. We left off with the homie Royale Michael, and we would be reviewing Laveri's up next, but Laveri's is on his Patreon, so we've already reacted to Laveri's submission earlier in the show. So make sure you go show Laveri's and Jordan some love, and all of our Music Mondays Patrons, man. So, following Laveri's up next, we have the homie Offspring Mysterious, a multi-talented producer, designer, writer, curator, editor. Offspring Mysterious has been killing it recently. Their last video with celebrating 3,000 followers on SoundCloud was actually really, really fucking solid. But this week they submitted a YouTube upload titled "Became a Real Creature." Well, let's get into it. All right, I'm down. Let's go 720. Offspring Mysterious became a real creature. Let's get into it. Offspring the goat. Fuck. What the fuck? Bro found the loot. It's like up. The fuck? He's like, bruh. Bro is not like the others. Offspring fitted up. Mood. Like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, hell no. What the fuck? Oh shit. Song is crazy. The edit is comedy. Oh, Dennis, some Offspring? Yeah, you've been on that time, and welcome on in, my friend. Happy Monday. Let's get it, baby. The fuck was that? Somebody's taking a piss in the back. I don't know what that sounds like. That was insane. Back. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Shit, back then jamming is crazy. Well done. Fantastic. I mean, the Offspring edits, man, recently have just been such a fun time. This one more on like the lighthearted side, right? And especially like implementing like the like full-blown music video skits in here. I think that's a W too. Like Offspring's really going outside the box, you know? Like each upload is really getting to that point where it's like, what can Offspring do next? And it's always either surprising or it just puts a smile on your face or both. You know what I mean? So this one falls right in that category for me for sure. But a shining star for Become a Real Creature. I would say the storytelling and the concept here of everybody kind of running away from Offspring. I felt like that was a really, really cool thing to implement. And then the music video segments are always fun too. So I feel like the storytelling here was like very much on point. So shining star here, definitely the writing and story on this for sure. I think the concept was a really good idea, 100%. Well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to the homie Offspring Series. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go sub to Offspring's channel. They're only 10 subs away from 250, so make sure you go show them some love over there on the tube. And of course, make sure you go follow Offspring Series on Twitter. They're only one follower away from 810 or 11 away from 820. So go show them some love over there in the bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We'll be approaching 330 subscribers over there on the tube, so make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. So, up next, we left off with the homie Offspring. Up next is the homie Nick Fail, a very talented producer, came through with a track titled Belters, Dark Synth Cyberpunk Space Wave Montage. Okay, so it's been a while since we heard from the homie Nick, but again, a very talented multi-genre producer came through with Belters. Let's see what we got here. Ooh, it's going to be like a little space kind of vibe. I see. 7 days ago, so hot off the press, brand new. Love it so much. Fantastic. Lots of love in the comments. Got all the links there. Mixed and mastered by Danilo. Montage by the homie Nick Fail. Footage from the list. The Expense Seasons 1 and 2. Alright, bet. I'm down. Nick Fail, Belters. Let's go. I see now. Very fast pace. The way that this is edited is crazy. See why the space vibe was a good choice. This is wild, I agree. I was just thinking, like, I ain't ever going up in space. I am not going up in space, man. Hell to the fuck no. No way. Not me. Space shit is scary. Very scary. Space nuke? Oh shit. They lit them all up. Oh my god. Holy shit. Got right, man. No way. Nick Fail, man. Well done. Well fucking done. That was quite the fucking visual. You know, the thing is with Nick, right, is like, even if, you know, their music isn't like your flavor, their edits are always so fucking fun. You know, we've seen horror ones, we've seen ones for Alien, we've seen this one now here with Belters. Like, come on. Come on. Even the montage is crazy. Well done, my friend. Well done. Let's see. So we're gonna talk about two things here, because obviously no vocals. So we're gonna talk about the instrumental itself, and we're gonna talk about the visual for Belters. That was a vibe for real. I agree, Kale. Welcome on in. Happy Monday. Let's get it, baby. Yeah, man. Let's talk instrumental. So, instrumental mix. You know, we've heard enough of Nick's discography to kind of assume that a lot of their mixes are going to be really, really up to par. And this one is no different. Nothing super clashy, too overbearing. I love the sound selection, especially for this like synth, dark synth, cyberpunk kind of style. Yeah, man. I'm gonna go with a solid mix on this one, just because it's you know, very consistent. But for those of you that don't know, something you always got to point out, right? But the mix for Belter is definitely on point. Like I said, nothing clashy, too overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change. Even the sound selection for the drums and everything was really solid. Structure was great too. So yeah, no, definitely no problems with the mix. Instrumental Shining Star, on the other hand, that's the real question. You know, I kind of want to say the melodies, because the sound selection for the synths are like really solid, but the drums are up there too. But I think one thing that you could like really overlook on this one here is the structure. To be so real with you, I feel like the structure is very much on point for this. Yeah, very, very underrated aspect of this. So let's go structure on this one for sure. But you could argue about the melodies though, definitely. So, instrumental solid, definitely a structure. Let's talk about the montage / visual for Belters. So again, this is not a show that I have seen or even heard of. The Expanse, seasons 1 and 2 is where all this footage comes from. And like I said at the start, man, even if Nick's music isn't exactly your cup of tea, their edits are always on point. Especially like thematically and like picking footage and the way that it's edited, it's just so on point. Especially for somebody like Nick. Like, I've never seen a bad edit from Nick at all, or one that I was kind of like questioning or anything like that. But regardless though, Shining Star for the visual, probably the editing, to be honest with you. I feel like the cuts here are perfect. Cutting to certain scenes and having certain scenes play during you know, when pretty much the whole song comes in. And there's just a couple of clips in here that'll just absolutely keep you engaged. You know what I mean? So it's one of those montages that like you can't put down and you can't stop watching. Like, it's well enough to sit down and watch, but also it's like one of those ones that you'd love to have on the background, you know, just throw it on a playlist or anything like that. But I feel like the sound absolutely matches Belter's visual for sure, no question. But like I said, Shining Star, definitely the editing. Nick is a wizard with the edits when it comes down to their visuals. Well done, my friend. Well done. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Make sure you go subscribe to Nick Fail. They're only 8 subs away from 130. And of course, make sure you go follow Nick on Twitter. They are 2 followers away from 460. So make sure you go show them some love over there on the bird at, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists in the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. If you already have, thank you, my friends. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Let's get it, baby. All right. So we left off with the homie Nick Fail. Up next is another very, very talented multi-genre producer by the name of Kale Plant. Kale is a Music Mondays veteran, man. Kale's been submitting to Music Monday since like 2023, 2022-ish. And it's been a while since we heard from Kale in 2025, but they submitted a track titled Grave Robber. Let's see what we got here, man. I'm down. I'm down. Pop this over a new tab. Let's see what we get. All right, give it a quick little pause. 3 days ago, so obviously brand new. I got the links here. Art by the homie Mild. Love that. Follow Kale there. Visual dropping next week. Okay. Sounds like a fucking plan. I'm down. Let's get into it. And we got Kale in the chat right now as we speak. Perfect timing, my friend. Perfect timing. All right, let's get into it. Kale Plant, Grave Robber. Let's go. Yeah, it's very, very ethereal, dark kind of melodies here for sure. Oh shit. Oh my. Wow. Perfect structure. Sheesh. Wow. Ooh. Man. Shit. Well. Kale coming through with another fucking banger, man. Kale coming through with another fucking banger. I mean, this one's gonna be tough, man, because the structure's fucking insane. The drums are really up there. Yeah. Man, let's break it down. Let's talk about it. So, we're talking about two things, because obviously no vocals, so we're talking about the instrumental. We're talking about the overall theme of Grave Robber, which obviously is relatively obvious, but we're still going to talk about it anyway. Instrumental. So, instrumental mix, right off rip, fucking fantastic. No gripes whatsoever. Sound selection is solid. Drums are fucking solid. I mean, really nothing that I would ultimately change on this. Like, for being totally honest with you, nothing that I can really even think of that I could even like tweak about. You know what I mean? It's a very on point mix, very consistent as well. And again, like I said, nothing clashing, too overbearing, nothing that I would like really change on this one. Levels are solid. I mean, that's usually the usual from Kale, but you never know, and something you always want to point out for anybody new here, right? So, instrumental mix very solid. Instrumental Shining Star, on the other hand, this is where I was gonna have like a little bit of trouble, right? Because like, you know, when it comes down to you know, the Shining Star, I mean, the structure immediately sticks out, but the drums are fucking up there, man. like the drums for sure. But I mean, you could kind of argue the melody too. I feel like melody is definitely a little bit underrated here. Because the melody like really sets the mood and sets the tone for this track. So, I kind of want to say structure, but the drums are fucking crazy, man. The drums are crazy. Let's go structure on this. Let's go structure on this. Just because it's a solid, safe structure. Not too wild, but also like switches it up a bit. So let's go structure, but I think drums are a close second. Drums are fucking crazy, but let's go structure on this. So instrumental solid, definitely a structure. Let's talk theme, aesthetics, Grave Robber. Art is fucking crazy. This is done by the homie Mild. And you should definitely go check out Miles' art, man, because some of these recent pieces have been fucking insane. But obviously, Grave Robber with the text down there, bottom middle. And then you have the Grave Robber from Yu-Gi-Oh!, which I also thought that concept of that character was like really fucking sick anyway. Like the Grave Robber character is like really insane looking, but also like the card itself in the show and in the actual TCG of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a clutch ass card. I'm pretty sure it got banned like from like locals and shit because it was just insane. But Grave Robber, excellent. Love the aesthetics. Definitely obviously fits the bill, right? Especially when it comes down to being a little bit more darker. For sure. So aesthetics definitely on point. Overall theme, Grave Robber. I mean, relatively solid, but I feel like the melody set the real tone here. It definitely does have that dark, dreary, almost ghost-like kind of feel to it. But I think the art really tops it off for sure, especially with like the Yu-Gi-Oh reference. So I feel like Kale really, really nailed this one when it came down to the theme, man, for sure. So well done, my friend. Well done. Huge shout out to homie Kale Plant. Thank you so much for the submission, my friend. Much love. Make sure you go follow Kale on SoundCloud, by the way. They're only 10 followers away from 460. That's a W milestone. Make sure you go follow Kale on Twitter, by the way. They're only 5 followers away from 650. So go show them some love over there on the Bird app, my friends. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a whole lot of good jazz is over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you. Let's get it, Kale. Yeah, that was a sick ass track, but no, Kale definitely killed that for sure. I agree. Producers are really fucking showing up tonight, man. Jesus. But you guys know the deal, man. We left off with the homie Kale Plant. Up next is the homie Most Dope Kimon, a very talented, very talented multi-genre artist, came through with a track titled The Best. This is actually the SoundCloud link of The Best. So let's see here. This will be track 3 of their recent EP that we've been kind of diving into, man. And this whole project has been very like emotional, kind of like love-centered, but not really at the same time because it still has that like confidence of Kimon as well. So let's pop this open a new tab. Let's see what we got, because again, Most of Kimon has been killing it in 2025, especially during the summer and the last like 3 or 4 months. I feel like everything has been really fucking solid. So I'm excited for this one, man. I'm definitely excited for this one. So we'll see if we have the full album over here on okay, yeah, here we go. Sick of Fake Love. Okay, so we did For Fun, we did X's and O's. Now we're doing track 3, The Best. And we have 2 left. Let's see what we got here. All right, I'm down. Let's get into it. Most of Kimon, The Best. Let's go. Damn. Let's go. Let's go, man. Okay, so this one's really interesting because it is track 3 off of Sick of Fake Love, right? So when it comes down to this, I feel like this one here, right? It's like such a change of pace. It's a little bit more upbeat. The lyrics a little bit more upbeat. It's a little bit like I said, like a change of mood here because the first 2 tracks are a little bit more on the emotional side, right? Not like sad emotional, but just more on the, slightly romantic, slightly emotional kind of deal. But this one, again, changes up the pace a little bit for a project, which I think is always wise. You know what I mean? When you're thinking about track lists and things like that, this is the stuff that you wanna think about, right? Because this one definitely changes up the pace. If you were listening to this project like back to front or front to back, doesn't really matter. This one kind of again switches up the mood a little bit. So let's break it down. Let's talk about it. Let's get into it. So we're gonna talk about 3 things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental. We're talk about vocals, and we're talk about the overall theme of the best. So let's talk instrumental. First off, I love the choice. Again, it's a very like Kimon sort of mix, but the melody is crazy. I really, really like the melody for Kimon on this. But regardless, instrumental mix definitely on point, especially when it comes down to the drums and cutting through. I think Kimon sounds really nice on top of it as well. Levels were solid. Nothing that I would like ultimately change on the instrumental at all, especially down to like sound selection or anything like that. But I thought the mix was solid for where it's at for sure. Instrumental Shining Star. Definitely the melody. I love the melody. I don't know why. It just like fits Kimon so well, and then like you have like the hard drums coming in, like especially like the 808. The patterns are great, but the melody is really, really solid on this. Let's go melody for the instrumental. The instrumental solid. Let's talk vocals. Vocal mix. A very Kimon vocal mix, right? A little bit of a melodic flow here and a little bit of like a melodic taste and style. So, of course, Kimon always comes through and really make sure that the mix is on point. And it fits Kimon's style so well. You know what I mean? And it's super important for tracks like this when there's so much going on that you actually have like a decent listenable mix. And again, Kimon's coming through with that. I feel like this one's right along that alley. You know what I mean? Nothing like super, super clashy to overbearing. Nothing I would like ultimately change. And again, drums cut through nicely. Kimon sounds solid on top of it. So, yeah, no gripes with the vocal mix at all. Definitely not. Especially with the more melodic parts. I feel like it was solid. But, Vocal Shining Star. I do like the writing on this one, right? I like the writing and lyrics. But, off the rip, the flow and cadence and delivery immediately sticks with you. The way that Kimon's flowing on this and delivering everything with such, like, confidence, but also, like, smoothness at the same time. Yeah, let's go flow and cadence and delivery. For sure. I'm definitely down for some flow and cadence and delivery. 100%. Instrumental solid, definitely the melody. Vocal solid, definitely the flow and cadence and delivery. Let's talk theme. Aesthetics. I've spoke about the Sick of Fake Love cover a few times, but for those of you that don't know my thoughts on this, it's really solid, especially now. With us recently talking about so many like IRL covers and things like that, using a photo and like sprucing it up like this is always a good play. Always going to be a good play, 100%. Again, not only is like the original shot really sick, but adding like Sick of Fake Love in the top left and then doing a little parental advisory bottom left. I mean, I feel like this one really, really worked out 100%, especially for like a small EP. And it's eye-catching on top of it too. So aesthetics definitely on point, especially for like a little EP. 100%, no doubt. Overall theme, the best. Like I said, a little bit of a mood switch up, right? And for a project titled Sick of Fake Love, kind of expected a range of emotions here, and this one definitely switches gears a bit and is a little bit more upbeat, but also Kimon still like speaking on a lot of things that they're feeling inside, but also realizing that like there is a positive side to certain things about love, and then there's like the negative side about it, so I feel like Kimon's exploring all the aspects here with this project, and track 3 definitely switches gears for sure. So well done, my friend, well done. Huge shout out to homie Moso Kimon. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud. This is I think this is a brand new SoundCloud, or if not, doesn't matter. Now they are 2 followers away from 10, so make sure you go show them some love on the clap. And of course, make sure you go follow Kimon on Twitter. They are 7 followers away from 30, so go show them some love over there on the Bird app, my friends. And of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and a lot of good jazz over there on the channel. Make sure you show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. All right, my friends. Well fucking done. Well done. So we left off with the homie Kimon. Fantastic submission. Up next, we have the homie Ghost, a multi-genre talented producer. Ghost came through with another unreleased instrumental on Dropbox. I'm down. Let's go see what Ghost has been up to, man. Ghost has been showing off their stash of instrumentals for quite some time here on the show, and it's been always a pleasure just to see what Ghost has been working on in the background, right? So I'm down. I'm down. Let's get into it. So you got a beat for GME, 140, a little co-prod on there. Let's get into it. I'm down. Unreleased Ghost. Let's go.
Be so fucking crazy that it
Must be Ghost produced. That's for another artist. This waveform already looking crazy? Yeah, no, I agree. Oh, shit. Wow. Love the 808s in this. I agree. They're very deep. It's fire. It's just that extra bass. I don't hit like the others. Right. Wow. Insane ending too. Wow. What a solid outro. Jesus. This gives me like almost like a mystery kind of like almost like a vacation kind of theme here. I don't know. It's a very summer instrumental though. It gives kind of like a vacation vibe or mystery or something like that. It makes you feel a certain way for sure. But let's talk about it. Let's break it down. So we're gonna talk about 3 things here. Actually, scratch that. We're gonna talk about 2. Because obviously no vocals. So we're going to talk about the instrumental, and we're going to talk about the overall theme of this unreleased Ghost instrumental. Instrumental mix. Fantastic. No gripes at all. I mean, it's been a while since I've had any gripes, if ever, with Ghost's instrumentals. I mean, especially when it comes down to a mix. Yeah, I mean, like, even the sound selection. Nothing clashing. Levels are solid. Yeah, man, definitely no gripes with this one. Definitely not. And I haven't had one in a while, but again, something I always want to point out for anybody new here. So, instrumental mix, very solid. Very, very solid. Instrumental Shining Star, on the other hand, probably the drums, right? I mean, it has to be the drums. I was going to say the structure, but yeah, I'm going to go with drums on this one. Sound selection on it, the patterns on it, the levels, again, even just the mix of all the drums, fantastic. So, Shining Star in the instrumental, definitely the drums, although I do love the melody because it brings a lot of the mood, but definitely the drums. gonna be a summer album, so I'm happy you feel that way. Oh yeah, definitely, for sure. Almost gave a tiny Egyptian vibe. Right, Onwuka. I think you hit the nail on the head with that one. Yeah, a little bit of like Egyptian, like almost like pyramid, kind of like desert, almost kind of vibe too. But yeah, instrumental, Shining Star, definitely the drums. Overall theme, much like we've been discussing in the chat. You know, it's summery, it's vacationy, it's almost mysterious in a way, right? Kind of reminds me of like Nancy Drew and like that kind of, you know, investigative kind of mystery, you know, and then even Ghost said it's going to be a summer album. So I think Ghost nailed it in terms of theme and like what this instrumental is going to make you feel like, you know what I mean? Structure isn't much to it. I want to keep the, yeah, right. Yeah. Simple but effective structure. Definitely effective for sure. But well done, my friend. Well done. That was a fantastic submission. Huge shout out to Homie Ghost. Thank you so much, my friend. Make sure you go follow Ghost, by the way, on Twitter. They're only 7 followers away from 540, so make sure you go show them some love on the Bird app. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube upload. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you have not already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week. Every Thursday, every Saturday, full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz is over there on the channel. Make sure you go show these artists on the channel some love, baby. Let's get it. And if you already have, thank you. We appreciate you here at Music Mondays. Alrighty, my friends. Last but certainly not least of the night, the homie Marco Pernice, a multi-genre talented producer and artist, has submitted the Electric Planet radio edit. I'm not sure if we've reacted to this track before from the homie Marco, but even if we did, I don't think we've done the radio edit. So let's pop this open in a new tab and let's see what we got here from the homie Marco, man. 3 years ago. From Electro Anthology. Okay. Let's see. August of 2021. Wow. Coming up on a 3-year anniversary for sure. Alrighty, my friends. I'm down. Let's get into it. Marco Pernice, The Electric Planet. Let's go. No, I don't think we've heard this. Definitely not. That guitar is crazy. Like jam here? I agree, okay. I agree. Damn. These are crazy. Another solo. He is fucking shredding that. Damn, he's shredding that. He's cool, can't lie. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites from Marco for sure. Nice long fade out. I like the long fade out. That was solid, man. That was solid. All right. Wow. Yeah, that's definitely gotta be one of my favorites from the homie Marco, man. For sure. For sure. Well done. I agree, Ghost. Yeah, I agree for sure. I feel you. A little bit of perks in there. Throw a little something extra. I agree. Okay. So let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's get into it. Obviously, no vocals, right? So we're gonna talk about two things here. We're gonna talk about the instrumental, and we're talking about the overall theme of the Electric Planet. Let's talk instrumental. So instrumental mix, fantastic. You know, usually Marco has a really solid instrumental mix across the board, regardless of them being experimental or blending genres or anything like that. They do have a really solid mix across the board for sure. So. Instrumental mix solid, nothing super clashy to overbearing. Love the sound selection, love the structure. Levels were good, quality was good. Nothing that I would like really ultimately change about this one at all. Nothing that was like really sticking out to me that I'd really like have a gripe with. You know what I mean? So instrumental mix very much solid, especially throughout a almost 5-minute track here. Instrumental Shining Star, on the other hand, while I do love the drums and I love the structure, I feel like you could argue both those points, but I think the shining star here is the melodies. The guitars and the synths throughout the whole song are just fucking insane. And then like some of the solos, like especially that solo like towards the end, was really impressive. Really fucking impressive. So I'm gonna go with the melodies on this one for sure. Instrumental solid, definitely melodies. Let's talk theme, aesthetics. Now we've reacted to this cover on a different track for Electro Anthology, but this one's crazy, man. Simple, straight to the point. I love the contrast of the red and the blues. But the aesthetics for a project titled Electro Anthology, I mean, you know, you can't ask for much more. I mean, what a great shot to use, you know, but it's simple, straight to the point, and very effective, especially for like smaller projects, right? But yeah, no, I'm down with the aesthetics on this one. I'm down 100%. Especially the photo that was used here, insane. So aesthetics definitely on point for what this is 100%, but the overall theme of Electric Planet, I mean, you know, for a project titled Electro Anthology and then like the Electric Planet, I mean, realistically, man, the synths and the sound selection and the guitars just really made this very electric, and it's tagged dance. So like I could see a little bit of like a dance like house vibe here, but regardless, I mean, just the melodies and the sound selection on the synths made this very electronic, very not like electronic the genre, but more like just like electronic sounding. You know what I mean? Especially with the electric guitar. Like I said, the synth sound choices were fucking crazy too. So yeah, I feel like Marco did a really good job kind of nailing down that electric kind of feel, you know, and then on top of it, blending like a couple different genres too. So well done, my friend. Well done. That's definitely one of my favorites of yours for sure. Huge shout out to homie Marco Aprunis. Thank you so much for the submission. Much love. Make sure you go follow them on SoundCloud, by the way. They're only 6 followers away from 100. That's a great milestone. Of course, make sure you go follow Marco on Twitter. They're approaching 1.5K on the bird at my friends. Of course, every artist featured in today's episode and every single episode will be linked in the description of the YouTube re-upload. Of course, make sure you subscribe to the Music Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't already. We're approaching 330 subscribers. We upload 2 times per week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, and all that good jazz is over there on the channel. So make sure you go show these artists and that channel some love. Let's get it, baby. Well done. Well done, my friends. Alrighty. That does it for everybody's submissions tonight. Massive shout out to everybody that submitted, tuned in, and showed love. Let's log off. Let's shoot the shit. Let's close it out. Let's give some shout outs and all that good jazz. Let's get into it, shall we? Alrighty, my friends. First off, huge shout out to everybody that came through and showed love tonight in the chat, man. You guys are fucking yapping it up. I love that the chat's active, but even if it's not, it's never a big deal, man. We always have our lurkers here at Music Mondays, so shout out to anybody lurking in the stream. But first off, let's give a little love to the chat. Huge shout out to the homie Ghost, of course. Huge shout out to the homie Onwuka. Huge shout out to the homie Kale. Thank you for coming through, my friend. And anybody else that came through, lurked and chilled, we always appreciate the tab up or anything like that. So we appreciate you. You're not required to chat or anything like that, but if you do have the stream pulled up, we do appreciate it. Let's give some shout outs to all of our submissions tonight, man, because our submissions went fucking insane. Everybody's just been on it recently, especially like this summer, man. But huge shout out to all of our Music Mondays patrons. Huge shout out to the homie Jordan, Laveris, TDG, Kruker, Big Mark, and the homie Ryuki. Thank you guys so much for your support over there on Patreon. You guys are fucking wonderful. And huge shout out to the rest of the community, man. Huge shout out to Wormwood Noah. Huge shout out to the homie Onwuka. Huge shout out to Jordan, Lil Derek, Royal Michael, Laveris, Offspring Mysterious, Nick Fail, Kale, Most Dope Chemo, and the homie Ghost, and the homie Marco Pernice. Much love, and thank you all for your submissions tonight. You're amazing. Top 3 artists of tonight's episode will be tweeted as soon as the show goes off air, so look out for that. And I'm going to snooze this ad real quick so you guys don't get an ad. Yeah, let's see here. So outside of that, submissions will be live for next week's episode 236 tomorrow. So again, make sure you follow us on social media at All Music Mondays. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, Blue Sky, YouTube, TikTok, quite literally wherever you are, we're there. So make sure you follow us to stay up to date when all these submissions do go live. Let's see here. Outside of that, this episode will be live tonight on Patreon, so definitely go check that out if you want to go download it or rewatch or anything like that. And of course, it'll be available on all audio platforms this Thursday, and it'll be available on YouTube this Saturday. So again, make sure you go stream the Music Mondays podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. We're on anchor.fm/allmusicmondays. All 200 plus episodes of the Music Mondays podcast are available over there to stream and dive into. So definitely go check out our library over there. Huge shout out to, again, everybody that came through and showed love tonight. Was definitely a W stream. I agree, Ghost. Definitely a W fucking stream. Outside of that, I don't think I'm forgetting anything major. Like I said, I'm gonna keep updating you guys on summer event stuff and all that good jazz weekly here on the show. And like I said, submissions open tomorrow for episode 236. So again, make sure you keep your eyes peeled and follow us on socials and stay up to date with all that good jazz. Outside of that, I do stream quite literally 5 to 6 days a week. We're always in here doing watch party jazz, doing YouTube stuff, and like I said, once I catch up on some content, I'll be able to bring back some speedrun content to the channel as well. But again, I quite literally stream 5-6 days in a row, so make sure you come through and show the kids some love and kick it, right? But huge shout out to everybody that does. And of course, make sure you follow, subscribe below. Everything linked below for me. All the Zomp Slayer socials, all that good jazz is linked down below. Of course, all the Music Money stuff is linked right here as well. So, you guys know the deal, man. That does it for episode 236. Much love. You guys are fucking wonderful. Thank you for everybody that tuned in, show love, even if you just lurking chills. We do appreciate you here at Music Mondays, man. So again, we'll see you next week for episode 236. And I'll be live tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So you guys know the deal. Follow, subscribe below. Everything linked below. All my socials, all the Music Money socials, all that good jazz linked down below. I love you all. Take care. Be safe. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you next week for episode 236. Be safe. I love you. Take care. Bye.